Patriots, shockingly, going to Cincinnati and win week 1. How do you like them apples? That's where we will start, obviously, today and spend most of the day.
Shocking.
Here on a re-entry Monday, which means everything's on the table, but of course we will be mostly Patriots-focused. Maz, your thoughts?
I thought I was shocked. Shocked. Given what the preseason looked like, I was worried they weren't going to be able to line up, that they weren't going to be able to block. When they committed a penalty on the opening kickoff, I thought, here we go. It's going to be more of the same. And then to their credit, they played what I would call a pretty solid game from beginning to end. And I'm not under any illusion about what they are. I've heard people start to say, what does this mean for this? Like, I'm not going anywhere near that. I'm talking about yesterday. Solid effort. Fine. Good. They look like a functional, real football team. They were prepared, certainly more than the other team. It wasn't perfect, but all things considered, it was a relatively clean game. They lined up. They didn't commit a crap ton of penalties. They didn't turn the ball over. They made a couple of key plays. The other guys didn't show up. They got themselves a W. Good for them. If they play like that, the franchise record for losses will not be in jeopardy.
Maz, let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
Wasn't it great?
It was. It was fun.
Wasn't it good fun?
It was a real game.
Good, fun game?
It was. It was a real game. It was a real game. And I had my doubts about whether or not we were going to get one, like everybody.
I had my doubts whether we'd have a single day like today. I was worried we would not have a single actual real Monday football show where we talked about the football game. And I thought, that was my big worry, that it would be a complete, the entire year would be a complete wash when it came to that. And boy, it is so much better to have a game to talk about and hopefully a team to talk about. That's to be determined.
But you got it right out of the gate. I mean, that might be the biggest surprise of all.
I didn't think we'd have one, Murray.
Yeah.
Or I was worried that we wouldn't have one.
Yeah.
You lose yesterday 34-10. Nothing to talk about. You lose the next one. Now you're 0-2, and nothing really matters. It doesn't really matter. Even if there's a close game in there somewhere. At 0-2, 1-4, 1-5, it's over. There's really no point about talking about a goal line fumble for you or against you. You will, but you're just kind of going through the motions at that point. And I thought we would not have a single day like today.
Justifiably, you thought that.
Where we get to sink our teeth into the game and the team and what it means. And I am so relieved. And I don't know. Murray, you're watching the game. What did you think?
It was a wonderful surprise. Maz, what did I text you like 5 minutes after the game?
That it was. Go ahead. You say it.
It was as fun as S. Legitimately as fun as S watching that. That is the most enjoyable Patriots game for me personally that I've watched in 6 seasons.
Did you turn away from one play?
Nope.
No, me neither.
No, it was riveting.
Not one play.
No, me neither.
And fun. Like it was like, and even though it wasn't like high flying, it was. Like it was just that was like a great gritty football game.
Okay, so Murray, you have a place in your heart for those because you're typically the
I want like high flying and action, and I want my parlays to hit. But again, like just based on everything we've read and heard, and I was only down there at camp one day, like and seen. I mean, I didn't expect that level of effort and juice from them. Like they were playing for Mayo, they were playing for themselves, they were playing to prove people wrong. Like all of that. I just know they were way more prepared than the opposition yesterday, and that surprised me. I thought they would screw it up somehow, but no. Like I thought, especially in the first half of the game, they kind of dominated the Bengals, which was great.
At the line of scrimmage, they did.
They absolutely dominated the first quarter.
Yeah, they did.
And, the Bengals went on that drive in the second, and Shaq could have scored twice and didn't, of course, because they're the Bengals. They totally dominated. Like, you were ready to go and they weren't. I mean, that's just, it doesn't have to be 35 points. Like, does that get you off? That gets me off. And just being ready to go and the other guys weren't.
Yeah, it was a really good...
beating a team that's better than you because of it. Like, yep. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good day for the coaching staff in particular, I thought. Because, again, to your point, they had them ready to go.
Yeah, you don't need to get 1,000,000 points if you end up making the opposition, especially the opposition with a quarterback the level of Joe Burrow, look like complete fools. Like, they made them kind of look like complete fools yesterday.
So, big day, you just said it, for Mayo, Wolf, Van Pelt. I'll even throw the Crafts onto the list.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And, we said this going in. Like, I just feel they just desperately needed it. Just the mood around the team. And when I say mood around the team, I'm talking from our vantage point. In the building, who knows? Maybe they felt totally different. But something tells me they didn't. Something tells me they were as apprehensive as everybody else. I mean, my God. From the owner on down, no one would talk about winning games, right? It's like Kraft says, well, I don't know how many games we're going to win. And when Mayo or Wolf are asked about it last week or at any point before the year, it's like, what constitutes a successful season? Well, we're going to be playing better at the end than we are in the beginning. And Wolf says, well, there's a lot of uncertainty with the team, with the offensive line. The comment we read for you to Andrew Callahan. So, like, even internally, I don't know exactly what they were expecting. So when I say mood around the team, though, I really mean, in the public sphere. The mood around the team was, wow. The lowest of expectations and pretty negative and pretty uncertain. And what's the direction of the team? That's the way I felt. And who knows? Maybe that's all still in play. It might be. But just for a week, it's like, oh, you get to think and talk about something else. Talk about a relief for them or us, or what a needed thing that was for that team. It was great to see.
Yeah, and again, the big thing is how
I haven't pulled for the Patriots like that in a long time.
I mean, just how they approached it. Again, they were ready to go. They looked prepared. They were generally disciplined. They had a couple of penalties. The opening kickoff one, there was another one where I think Verdarian Lowe jumped early, illegal procedure.
Yeah.
But in the whole game, they had 5 penalties. I mean, the refs weren't overly involved in the game, period. Right? I think there were only 7.
No, they really weren't.
7 flags in the whole game.
It was a good product. It
Yeah.
really was.
Refs did a good job.
Yeah, it was good. It was good all the way around. I mean, it was a real football game is what it was, a real NFL Sunday game with a team that admittedly offensively is challenged, has to play a certain way to win the game, but you knew that going in. They still completed some passes. They converted some third downs. Again, we'll get into particulars, I know. I thought defensively, they were eye-opening. And that's what I would hitch my wagon to, or if I were a Patriots fan, but how they looked defensively, because I thought they attacked. And I don't mean like Blitzburg, or I just mean they were aggressive going after the ball.
I was going to say, there were a couple tackles where it's mostly coming out of the secondary. Where guys were missiles.
That's
Holy
4th and 2.
mackerel.
So the 4th and 2 tackle from Jonathan Jones in the fourth quarter, or second half anyway, was obviously one that stood out. There was one in the first half where Marcus Jones came up on a 3rd and 6, something like this, and just walloped the guy down low. And they had some really physical sort of heat-seeking missile kind of stuff on the defense. Never mind up front and Keon White and all of that. Absolutely.
No, they really, again, they looked like a fast defense. And so they were diagnosing plays, particularly from the secondary, as you said. Duggar had a play in the backfield, if I remember correctly. Obviously, they were ball hawking for much of the game. I just felt like Mayo kind of turned them loose a little. Or Covington, a combination of the two. Belichick always played that conservative GTFP, get the bleep back. It was give up the stuff underneath. We're not going to give up big plays. We'll give you field goals. This was more of a we are going to punch you in the face kind of defense. And that I like that. That I can get into that.
So Mayo clearly got him ready and clearly had, and the thing about, I know it's sort of really boring to talk about, but the conditioning and being ready week 1, they really were. And that is something that Bill had totally let sort of slide in the last several years. I didn't even realize this. This was their first opening day win since 2020.
Yeah,
is that right?
The Cam Newton Dolphins win. Yeah.
So they, and I can't even remember that. But
he ran a lot that game. He had 15 rushes, remember?
No.
I do.
I
remember that.
really
They've sucked the first 2 weeks since then.
And I would say even back into Bills, if they win or lose the games, I don't know. I can't remember how they did on opening day specifically in 2019, 2018, 2017, but it was always kind of a slow thing. And the training camps, we just by the schedule was like got softer and softer.
Yeah, he added the comma to no days off. No, days off.
And, Mayo, as bad as they looked in some of these practices or the slow pace, they were in pads a lot. They tackled a lot. They practices where they tackled to the ground. So they, it's just like that. Like, I get off on that sort of thing. I like it. And not that you can win championships this way, but like just the way I'm wired, I'm more interested in that kind of thing. A team that just worked harder, thought more, put more into it, and beat a team that's better than them. So that guy runs faster or jumps higher. Like, I'm not as interested in that as winning a game that way. I don't know. And I think it's just so important for Mayo to get off on that kind of start.
Definitely.
Because it's just instant buy-in. And again, I don't know what I'm not as smart as you people. I can't predict the future. So like I know there's gonna be a lot of as always tends to happen when they win. You guys said, like, I'm going to defer to you people who are smart and know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not smart enough. I'm not as smart as you. But it's going to help. And if there's any chance this year to make it a season or have a season, it's people buying into Mayo's message early and getting, you have to outwork teams and play harder than teams because you're not going to win on talent. You're not going to win on that other thing that I said. You're not going to be able to run faster or jump higher than hardly anyone. So you're going to have to outwork them and be tougher and smarter and better conditioned and all that crap. And so if they do all those things and lose 34-10, what does that do? Like, why am I sticking my nose in there?
Correct.
So getting off to that kind of start, I think, is just huge. And it just changes the narrative for at least a week, which they desperately needed, and I'm happy for as well. Just take a week off from bashing the crap out of them. Although we can still try and do that, Mazz. If
Does
you
it
want.
have to be a whole week?
No, I don't know. We'll see.
I was thinking a day.
Does even have to be more than a segment. 617-779-0985 right after this.
How about an hour?
Brace yourself.
Okay, Mazz, your thoughts on the defense.
So, look, to me, this is the one thing I would really cling to if I were a Patriots fan. I'm not sure what they're going to do offensively week to week. I have no idea. Some weeks it's going to work. Some weeks it's not. I don't know if they're going to block. They still had problems on the line yesterday, particularly on the left side. But that defense, and not just from a personnel standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, I think you might have something there. We'll see. I loved the way that they were running around the field.
So when you say scheme, I mean, there were some wrinkles. It was nice. You could see it early. There was like maybe even on the first series, they all sort of crowded up in the gaps like they were going to come, and then we broke out into the zones, sort of feigned a blitz and came out of it. Like, again, I think it was like maybe even the first third down that Cincy had. So it felt like they were schemed right from the start.
Pressure. It was. I think the whole thing was, and I don't even mean pressure on the passer. I mean getting up on you, taking away space, and the closing speed on some of those tackles. I thought Bentley looked faster in this game than I've ever seen him as a member of the Patriots. I thought they were really sideline to sideline. I thought defensively they were terrific.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.